And the whole thing about the specter of possibly losing your old man, you know, as I've always said, you don't grow up until you bury your last parent. Because when that coffin is lowered, you know that's it.
Yeah.
There's no more daddy, mommy, the party is over.
From ABC News.
Every now and then, someone comes along who teaches the rest of us about the kind of soaring spirit that can rise above poverty, fear, or brutal environment. What's astonishing about the young man you're about to meet is that he did it at the age of 15.
This morning, we are talking about children who have lost their parents to AIDS, and my next guest, Gil Alicea, has lost both his mother and his baby sister to the disease.
It's a memoir, a letter to you, with a postmark from one of the toughest places in the country, the South Bronx in New York City.
At the age of 16, he has already authored a book. It's entitled The Air Down Here, True Tales of a South Bronx Boyhood.
A place where, in the words of Gil Alicea, sometimes it seems even the air itself is against you.
The air in my neighborhood is harder. It's more thicker, harder to breathe in, harder to see through. It's like it's polluted. I don't see stars or nothing. I don't like where I live.
In the summer of '94, Gil was looking forward to a new beginning with his father, but it wasn't to be.
Everything happened so fast. Within 2 years, everything just crumbled. Everything we worked for, built, it got scary, it got real scary.
Gil Sr. says he turned to drugs to dull the pain, and he became a stranger to his own son.
I think he went to drugs to escape reality.
Because of your mother's death?
Yeah, he tried to escape reality, which the only person who was really hurting was himself, and also he was hurting me.
What are some of the things that you have experienced that dictated to you that you got to put this down on paper?
The way things was going and nothing was being done about it, I felt that a lot of issues needed to be discussed. And every time I look at newspapers or put on my TV set, there was none of the real issues being discussed, except for, well, the violence in the South Bronx instead of the positive.
Yeah, I speak positive, and I should talk to all the kids and inspire them to do so also, because I like just taking the worst things and making them into the positive things.
That's what I want to tell kids. I know it's hard with peer pressure and all. Keep your head up. I know how it probably affects you and everything, because kids think, why should we care? Our parents don't care. Some parents be fooling around using drugs, not doing things for themselves. They don't care if kids are hungry or staying out all night. But I want to say to kids that if you care for yourself, you're going to be something. No matter if you have a hard time now, you can have a better time later.
In late '94, Gil's father was arrested for robbery. He's currently imprisoned on New York's Rikers Island, awaiting trial.
And hopefully my dad, straighten up his act. I feel like me and my dad can do positive things to help each other. It's like something special just to have that relationship. And hopefully we will reunite and then go head on to the future and move on.
If you have any one big regret in terms of your son, what would it be?
Coming to jail and leaving him out there.
He still visits his old neighborhood, but he's moved on. He plans to go to college and thinks he'd like to become a psychologist.
There's a guy I know named Joey. Haven't seen him in 1,000 years.
You want to say hi to him? No?
I'm nervous about coming around and saying hello. Let me see. I might even know this guy. Hold on.
You know him?
Yeah, What up, man? What's going on, man? Everything good, man? Good, man.
Yeah, where, Mom?
Yeah?
Crazy hot.
What up, man?
How you been, big kid? God bless. You got about 3 kids, baby? God bless, man. It's been a long time, man.
So, some childhood friends.
Childhood friends, man. All right, what's your name? Ricardo. Ricardo? How do you know Gil?
I know him since he was small, living in the same building. He lived behind me. I used to live right here. You know, I know his mother, I know his pops. You know, I know what he's been through, you know?
Said he was just thinking of my pops the other day, him and a few other guys and stuff like that.
He's a legend, Mo. He's a legend out here, man. For real. Taught us a lot of things.
Hello.
A lot of positive things. Joe, I'm Joe.
Right,
they call me Psycho Joe over here, you know? I know Gil since I was small. I grew up in this neighborhood all my life. I've been here. I knew him since we was young. I'm talking about back in 82, 83, 84 when we was outside the street. When
he couldn't come outside.
You know, we would sneak out and go climb up on the pole right there, the light pole, to knock on Gilly's window. Gil, you coming out? He had to do his chores and stuff, and then maybe once in a while he could come out, but usually he'll get in trouble because he'd be throwing his toys out the window, and then a kid will come and tap on the window, the mother come out, and the father, he'll say, oh, it's Gil there, tell him throw me some toys. And then his mother starts screaming at him, Gilly, what are you doing? Throw your toys out the window, and all this crazy stuff. I know his father for years, too. His father's a great guy.
So, this is Sound View. It feels good to still receive love. It's still good to feel, you know, just get some love and comfort from your old stomping grounds. And let me show you where I grew up. This is it. Where you see Ariel? And that's the door. Right over there. It's like this. And of course, the people that I used to remember as neighbors, I'm assuming are not there anymore. Some maybe, some are not. And I hear that this place, there's been a few families that moved in and out. Complaints of hearing things and all that.
This gives you memories coming back here?
Yeah, it's peaceful actually. It's not an overload of emotion. It's negative. This is actually good. It's positive. It's positive. Yeah, I get a little embarrassed as well when see familiar faces. Just not embarrassed, just shy and just. I still get butterflies, I guess, meeting a new face, even though I know these guys from when I was younger, just, reacquaintances. So even the window with the broken window, that used to be my bedroom. This used to be the bathroom. And basically this is the boiler room. And what we would do right here, we would play baseball. So where that tree, before this tree was planted, they used to pitch it, and we used to play baseball right here. And how we would make a box, we'll rip up some dirt, which I'm not going to do, but we'll rip up some dirt, some plant, and we'll rip it up where you can see the soil underneath, and we mark the box, which dirt actually works well with the walls and drawing. Paint the box? Yeah? But, people spray paint them. I used to just use regular dirt. Also around here, I used to climb to my room. Huh? Probably. You can climb it? Guys that fall like you used to do. That's how I used to climb. Get into his window. He used to sneak out that way too sometimes. And then walk, right? Then walk on the ledge to grab on the gate. So this is the whole thing. Is basically up to there is my window, and used to be my window. There's the living room. My grandmother's room. Used to be my grandmother's room.
Which one?
This one right here. This was my room in the back. Just the living room.
When you said you was embarrassed coming down here, what did that, explain that?
I don't know if that's the best word to describe it, but I feel a little, that wouldn't be the word to describe it, but I feel a little weird. It's a lot of attention, right? And I never deserved it. I never really, I never, the way I look at this whole thing, the book, and if it's all the fame that I received and all that, it's great, but I'm just your average Joe. So when I get people who say, yeah, I remember, and oh yeah, wow, in amazement, it just feels undeserving.
You say the air in my neighborhood is harder. It's more thicker, harder to breathe. It's harder to see through. Now, what did you mean by that?
I meant that it's harder because you don't know what you want from your life. It's like, what am I gonna become when I get older? Like, am I gonna be on welfare? Am I gonna have a great job? Am I gonna become something? Am I gonna make my family proud of me? Am I gonna make myself proud of myself?
What's been going on, Gil?
Well, it's interesting. It's a great question. It's a lot of stuff that's been going on. I have a beautiful family, beautiful girlfriend that's I'm accompanied with at the moment, named Fatima.
Yeah.
Beautiful child named Messiah.
Yeah.
How fitting. My dad my dad is in another state. I forget exactly where, Tennessee or somewhere. And
when did he move?
Well, he moved about a week and a half ago, and he's on the donors list outside New York City to see if he can get better results on being on the list.
When's the last time you spoke to him?
I spoke to him about a couple of days ago.
What did he say to you?
Just, he says he wants us to go out, fly up, and see him, and, just that he loves me, stuff like that. This is Messiah's room. I'm getting a load of that.
Messiah's room.
Let's go. That's up. Then this is his domain. No, it's a kid's room. You see the basketball courts over there. He has all sorts of sports orientated to Spider-Man, so he's a love child. He's not going without. So he's a good kid, and he loves his room, and it doesn't seem that way, but he gets great use of it. How about that? So we trying to get him not to swing off the top and drop to the bottom. This is not like a safety net here that he can, he drops and propels himself to the bottom.
You know what I did notice, the reason why I wanted to come in here is that I remember there's a photograph of your room, and it kind of similar, looks like your room, wouldn't you say?
I have the picture of the book in there with that picture.
And then what struck me is that basketball court.
Basketball thing, yeah. I have a picture of it. I can show you right now, so you can take a look at it.
Can we see those pictures? Some of the pictures. I remember you said that you might have pictures to show me.
We have the Germany edition of the Ariel down here. And there's some pictures in here that are not in the other book. Some of my old friends and stuff like that. some interesting stories which we hear. You know, some of these guys matured and, you know, landed some good jobs and ended up living out their dreams, and others, you know, street dreams. Some of them are arrested, some of them have other fate, you know, and it's just the life struggles that we.
Who are they? Like, I mean, exactly. Like, those are all your friends?
Yeah, some of these are the people I knew well. Others that were, you know, above my age group, older than I, and that I used to not hang with, but I knew of them. They knew me as a younger version of me. And I forget exactly how old I was. But there's let me see.
Talk about that German book a little bit.
Well, it's funny because I sold the German rights, but they no one wanted to pick it up in the Latin community, in the Latin world. My book is not in Spanish. My book was able to be sold in Germany, and Germany thought it was a great idea. And it was, hey, a Latin guy, you know, doing some with a book published and stuff like that. And you would think it would be easier. I have
So no, I want to see the other pictures. Can you possibly see some of the other pictures?
There were only one or two that were different, but they were, you know, I have the American version. I believe I have it up top. There's a picture of my mom here, and I in Venice Beach or Muscle Beach. I'm not too sure exactly. And
where was that at?
It was in California. I wasn't too sure if it was Muscle Beach, Venice Beach. I'm not too sure if that's the same place. I don't know.
Place.
Okay, good.
Did you remember that? That picture when you look at it, do you remember that?
Well, I remember it was a while back. It's about when I was like 14 or so. So you know, it's been a while. Let's see. Now I got a lot of tapes VHS that I need to transfer, change the platform to DVD, which I am. A lot of these are from 2020. It's in German, television in Germany, and I have them in VHS form. And yeah, these are different interviews that I did at the time. See, Hispanic America 1997, the year in review. Got a lot of great reviews, notoriety, how to be a gentleman, and some other stuff. But here, let's take a look at this. This is a Life magazine spread, and the cover is graced with dreams. But here we are. This is me, obviously. And it's page 50. And let's go to 50. Voila. And it's a young, another earlier picture of me.
Any more pictures in there?
Yeah, there's an 8-page spread, amazingly enough, and these are some other pictures. Wow.
How do you feel when you look at something like this back, you know?
It's interesting, but it's an experience that I had. I didn't earn it. I don't believe I earned it.
My grandmother had passed away first. 2 weeks later, my sister had passed away. And then, like 2 years later, my mom passed away. And all this for my dad's like, I was just with these people. People that I love, that I care for. And he just vanished like that. And that was hard, you know? It was like I was the only one, just me and him. And my dad had went to drugs to escape reality, the stress that he was going through, and also himself with HIV positive. school and everyone else tells me that drugs is bad. But my role models and my family are doing it. And that's like a missed message.
I remember many, just years of just drinking every single day. And it was a horrible feeling. I mean, I was known as the guy, basically I go to the barber shop, everyone knows me, hey, what's doing? Hey, you got a drink on you? Yeah, I got it in my back pocket. And if I'm running low, then that's more than enough reason for us to go to the liquor store. So it was a very scary sight. So I just wanted to just briefly update you on why going to this AA-like meeting and up to date on with the times. But today, I'm not abusing alcohol, and I'm happy to say that I've been clean from it for about 3-4 months now. So in February 25th was my last drink. So happy to say that.
What age you start drinking?
Oh, it's fairly late in comparison to those who I hear started at a very at an earlier age. I started at 21. You have to remember, I was in a group home since 15. So me being in a group home, I didn't get the opportunity of the same privileges as the other, as my peers up there, which they would go home for the weekend. They would spend time with their family over the weekend. Good behavior warrants you to go home for the weekend. I was there under neglect, so I didn't have a home to go to. So I was there for 4 years, and I decided to leave once staff became a bit abusive. There were staff up there that if you was there under neglect, they just felt that people forgot about you. You didn't have someone to, you didn't have a voice. So dudes like myself, had to put up with a little bit more than someone who had a strong family support. So this here is the center. And you can see on top is the name of Hunts Point Multi-Service Center. And I don't know, every time I look at this, just personally, it's my mother's last name, Velez. So when I see this, it just, reflects me and just, says to myself, wow, just another humbling experience, Just one reason to get it right, other than myself, of course. But this is the barbershop which we are approaching. It's called Willy Wonka's. And I don't know exactly what to expect from this. Then we're going back upstairs to my house, and I don't know what to expect from this, but I'm going to give it a try.
This was Gil's hangout?
Yeah. We used to take trips to the liquor store right there.
And then the guys used to ask me, this like, you have a shot of liquor? And I said, certainly, I have it in my back pocket. I used to always give guys a little shot of liquor. And if I didn't have a shot of liquor, I would tell them to come me to the liquor store so we can get some liquor and stuff like that. That's how bad it was. But these guys, they would come to work, and I'm coming here basically just to drink and stuff like that. It's really negative, and I don't know, I guess Will nicknamed me Sloth.
That was his nickname?
Sloth.
Sloth, that's cool. You can tell one story before we go? Just one story, we let you go.
This guy was a funny dude, man. He used to just sleep there sometimes in the chair. He used to be leaned back right there just drinking, I had to ban liquor out of here because of these guys. Because I'll come the next day and they'll have the whole tables full of.
They have some of his employees and his workers drinking, taking shots or whatever.
He corrupted a lot of guys.
Yeah, barbers actually trying to give haircuts.
I had to get him out of here after that.
So you got banned out of here?
No, he didn't get banned. I had to ban the barbers because they were just getting drunk with them.
Another love that I used to have is basketball. Not just, rhyming and basketball go hand in hand, but, just playing basketball and stuff like that. And it's like, balling out, in and out and all that.
toss up, tap up, all legal moves. Skips. Down to the, gotta catch up, float, drop it on, stuff of that nature. Solid profile.
Go ahead. Give me some.
Little slide and stuff like that. Let's cover it. Funny thing, you know, I wrote the book, and then the real story came out after I started doing interviews, you know, the 2020s and stuff of that nature. So I only started, the truth started to come out after the development of the book. So, but so the book itself, I'm not truly proud of the book itself. The book leaves out major details, and I mean, the book itself doesn't even talk about anyone with HIV, and that's a major part of that.
Gil was an only child until his sister Alexis was born in 1989. That was when Gil learned that the baby and both his parents had the AIDS virus. Alexis was 14 months old when she died. Gil was 11.
I know she liked me because I used to make her laugh. She would laugh like a grown-up, like she knew she had to get all her laughing in quick.
Soon, his mother too was dying of AIDS.
She always had high hopes for me, and she used to always back me up in everything I used to do, you know? She used to always have my back, you know?
I try to make my mother happy. I tell her not to worry, and I talk about God. She likes that.
Maria Alicea died the same day a publishing company bought the rights to her son's book.
Telling that to your mother, like, Mom, you know, I'm gonna get a book published, would have been a great feeling, you know, for me to tell her. And she never found that out.
Afterwards, I would talk to her in my prayers. I say stuff like, now that you're alone with my little sister and taking care of her, don't worry about me. I'm doing okay.
I don't make a habit of coming here on anniversaries, birthdays. They were with me. So, on a spiritual sense, that's what's best for me, to embrace them spiritually.
And what Isabel's your
grandmother. I was very close to her. That was the first person I was ever close to in my life, which was my grandmother. Very close. Extremely. All the way up to the point that she passed on. And then from there, you know, everyone else came in. My mother, of course. But my grandmother was very close. And my mother as well, my sister, and my dad. But you know, of course, I love them more. And seeing this, you know, I see that you know, just viewing the names that are on his tombstone, I can't help to think of my dad.
So when he wasn't on drugs, he was a great man. He would help me out, show me new things and everything. But it's just that drugs overcame his life, and drugs started running his life instead of my dad running his life. And it's something that he couldn't help. It was something that after he was already on it for so long that he couldn't just stop. He tried, he went to NAs, tried to go away, tried to go into drug programs, but it was so hard dealing with reality.
And I spoke to my dad yesterday, and just about finances, just being able to get the finances to go up there and so forth, and so on. But my dad,
it's really tough times. My dad needs a liver transplant. If he doesn't receive it, it's very simple. He passes on. I remember my mom playing with me, laughing, joking. Yes, of course. But I remember a lot of serious times too. Yes, just because after '89 things got serious. And then there was also brief moments, with my dad before, in and out of prison. There was some interesting moments there as well. But for the most part, it's just something that's happened, and I have small memory, but I just wish that I had more. Yeah. That's wonderful. I'm so happy. Congratulations, and I'm so thrilled. Okay, all right, love you too. Bye-bye. Being Kirk on the phone. But, it's good news. It's, my dad, Colorado, there's a liver, he went to Kansas City, and they put him through some IVs and stuff like that. And they're flying in the liver from Colorado or something. And by tonight, they get the liver, and he said that he'll call me in a couple of days or so. Just learning not to expect anything really, as far as my dad's been through enough, so I can't really expect him to be cheerful. But I'm really happy. But gotta put the brakes on because I am on my own at the end of the day. My dad did say this on the phone. He said, you gotta take care of yourself. You really gotta take care of yourself. I don't know what that comes from. Also, my dad shared that I pick my women like my mom. It's like, you pick your women like your mother, and not in a complimentary manner. I didn't take it as that. Not how it was worded. My dad also mentioned, your mom raised you, which is kind of a blow. He's like, hey, look how you ended up becoming and stuff like that. You only had a short time with me. Your mom really raised you. Stuff like that. But you don't really know what that means or whatever. By that person. To me, it's all good. Everyone's suffered enough. The only thing you can hope for now is that my dad, advice to me, just live life, you gotta worry about you.
Gil Sr. had his own problems. He'd done prison time on weapons charges and came home when his son was 10, anxious to start over. For a while, life was good. Gil's father got a job and got serious about family. Gil says his dad was strict about school, homework, and staying off the streets.
At home, my father teaches me how to survive, how to do things correctly in life, and just take care of myself. But he also says, be a kid. Don't grow up too fast, because that's what I did.
He used to be very proud of walking me down the street. I used to be proud of having him being proud of me. It's like every father's dream.
Until the hard air began to seep in.
When we started to develop and, kids, they were like, that's why, your parents, have AIDS and they're gonna die and y'all all gonna die. At that age, at that time, it was really, everyone was naive to this virus. And my sister, she lived until she was 14 months and then passed on.
But before that, my grandmother, there was an incident with my dad. My dad used to love to put, he couldn't just let something go. He would, let it last hours and hours and hours. And it was a situation where I messed up my bike, and I kind of like messed up the front fender. And I was scared to tell him about it. And finally, there was this one day that he was like, let's go bike riding. And then he was like, I came, I told him, I messed up my bike. He got really upset, threatened to throw the bike out off the roof. And then my grandmother, she was so stressed out that she just, she was just stressed, and her nerves weren't good that night. And we used to sleep together. And I remember laying down next to her, and she prayed like she always did at nighttime, and then she laid down, and then that's when she got back up and laid the back of her head on my stomach where I was laying next to her. Then she started to foam for the mouth, and where she was getting the cardiac arrest. And then my dad and I tried to help her. And my mom, when she saw what was happening, she ran out the house. She was hysterical, and she didn't take it well. So we found ourselves making some funeral services for my grandmother. And I remember doing that time. That time was really rough for us. My mom didn't take it well. My dad, it was hard for him, I'm assuming. But him and my grandmother, their relationship, they didn't really develop as far as, becoming, good friends. My grandmother just, she didn't really take a liking to my dad. But after my grandmother passed away, we buried her. And a couple of months later, we ended up doing the same for my sister when she passed away. And then about a year and a half after, this interesting story as far as when my sister passed away. When my sister passed away, my mom didn't take it well. She really, I remember going one time to the psychiatric ward, me and my dad, because my mom didn't take it well at all. She lost her mother, and she just lost her daughter, and also she just found out that she was diagnosed with the virus, all within a year and a half of a time span. And I remember going to the psychiatric ward, and she was only there for a short time. And when she came out, she used to be like, I hear the baby crying. And I remember watching my mom walk into the house and her asking me, do you hear that? Do you hear that? I remember her saying, I think Alexis, I gotta feed her. I hear her crying. So she took it on a real, it was really a big deal. And my dad, I think he was off and on using drugs. I remember my dad calling himself a garbage head after a while, which means that, you do dope, you do crack, basically whatever you can get your hands on at that moment. So he didn't take it well. So everything started to crumble. My mom was in and out the hospital during that time, and she would catch seizures. She would be, all the effects of HIV, I guess. She started to deteriorate and succumb to the virus. And all that happened within a year, and within a year's time. She basically, in front of my eyes, basically deteriorated. So it was hard. It was a lot of different moments where I would take care of my mom at the house, and she would look at me, and she couldn't even hold the mug. A mug would be too heavy for her. So I would make sure that I would feed her, hand feed her, or take her to the bathroom. She couldn't use her legs after a while, and she had to be wheeled around. And this is just a year and a half ago. She was, beautiful, full of light, as far as the physical aspect. Always beautiful though. But she within a year and a half's time, it really got bad. And then my dad was still abusive, psychologically and also physically. I remember my dad, he would get upset. I remember this one time at 3 o'clock, it was 3 o'clock at night, and my dad, he gets me up, he says, "Get up, I need you to get the fuck up and help me with your mother. The hell you think you're gonna be sleeping while I'm doing all this shit, you know? And get your ass up, and I need you to help me right now." And at that time, I was only a child, 13, 14, but my dad was very, you know, everything was, you know, basically hitting the fan. And I remember different situations. It was a lot of stress on everyone. I know my mom, she pissed on the bed one time, and my dad was so pissed off. He was just angry and mad. And then I looked at my mom. She was hopeless. Hopeless. And it was just rough times on a psychological level, you know. On a psychological level, it was really rough. It outweighed the physical. And then my mom ended up passing away. When it was just my dad and I, it really started to become hectic. The drug abuse, him abusing drugs, he started to abuse more and more drugs. And I remember he was known on the block, known in the neighborhood, but for being a gangster, for being someone that you don't really mess with. I remember coming to the house, he had a table full of guns that he owned. And a lot of these guys on the block looked up to him. And there was situations where I remember he was so high, he brought me to the roof. I had a hard time going to school. He'll tell me one of his biggest things was, you know, just go to school, don't cut class. And I would cut class to go play basketball. So during this hard time, I found I would escape by going to play basketball on the courts, but during school hours. And he would find out, and he'd be very upset. But you know, just not like, you know, get a spanking upset. This would be like really drawn out in the dysfunctional level. I remember going to the roof, him pulling out a pistol, and you know, pointing into me and saying, "You know what? Jump off the roof. Jump. If you don't jump off the roof, I'm gonna blow out your kneecaps, and you're gonna be crippled. Blow out your kneecap. Jump off the roof." So I remember crying on the rooftops, and really contemplating I didn't know what to do. Just felt trapped, and you know, until he really sees that I'm contemplating and there's nothing else to do but just jump off the roof. And once he realized that it's got to that level where I'm actually contemplating, then he'll switch it to something else. I remember being where he was at the house, and he'll say something like, you know, since I treat you, since I'm so abusive to you, and you know that I have the virus, I refuse for me to be weak around you and for you to take care of me because I know that you're abusing me. But, you know, before it gets to that level, you know, he'll pull out a gun and he'll say, just shoot me, just shoot me. He'll put a pistol in his mouth and take my finger and put it on the trigger and want me to blow his head off. And I remember being so frightened, terrified, and wanting nothing to do with this, and wanting not to have my finger on the trigger with the gun, with the pistol in his mouth, and stuff like that. You know, saying that he'll inject me with the virus, all sorts of psychological stuff. You know, that if he goes to jail, at least he'd be happy in jail. But he knows that, you know, I got my knees blown out, or that I'm crippled, so it all weighs out. And during this time, my dad used to work like about a year, let's say a year before or 2 years before, he used to work in a health club. And when he came out of jail in '88, he landed like 2 or 3 jobs working at a health clubs. But at this one particular health club, he met a few people. He met Barbara, and Barbara, she was inspiring to becoming a literary agent and leaving the Hollywood scene and stuff like that, and focus on the literary end of things. And I met Barbara, and Barbara and I hit it off well. And the first time that we met, she thought that was funny. She thought that was charming and very smart. Barbara and my dad, I didn't understand their closeness, but I started to figure out I started to realize exactly how close they really started to become. And I remember even before while my mom was healthy in a picture, I remember my dad, being friendly with Barbara. I'm not too sure exactly if he shared with her, that he had a girlfriend or wife or what have you. I'm assuming not. But Barbara, she was she wanted to become a literary agent. She was interested in having me write a book. I told Barbara some of the real things that were happening. I also told him, my dad, he pulls off heists and stuff like this. Like, my dad is, you don't really know my dad. And I was a beat up child, and I told him. And Barbara brought in 2 detectives. She was really upset. She brought in 2 detectives, and she said, you know what, I want you to tell me tell them what you told me. And I did. And not knowing exactly what was gonna come out of this. And I shared, and this is the first time me talking to anyone about this situation, truly, anyone. So I told these 2 detectives where they ended up arresting my dad. And I remember going to my aunt's house, and my Aunt Carmen, and he called Collect, and he was still in that mind frame. Oh, do you think they're gonna hold me down for a long time? I'm gonna beat this case, and when I go out, watch when I go out. Showtime, in other words, when I go out. So I was petrified. I just didn't know the ball started to roll, and I didn't mean it to start to roll, and life started to take its course.
Did that happen after the book or before the book?
This happened right during, like right before I started to do the press and all that. My dad had just got arrested. So everything happened at the same time, basically. My dad ended up getting arrested. He went to trial. We go visit, visit him at trial. And my dad ended up beating one case, and then he blew trial on the other, where inadvertently, Barbara and I assisted in his 10-year sentence. So he ended up going to jail for 10 years because of that. So I found myself with just Barbara now, a totally new face, someone who really doesn't, what I just finished, experiencing for these years. And then with Barbara, she was like, very oblivious to, that type of way of living. So Barbara and I decided that maybe it would be a good idea for me to go to a boarding school. And she knew some people in Daily News, which this writer from the Daily News, he put me in the Daily News about 3 times and mentioned that there's a Gil Alicea foundation. And the fund is just something that Barbara just decided, hey, let's start up a fund so you can get some funds towards your schooling. There was many people that stood up, that came up to the plate, and I remember having dinners with people, and they were like, you know what? I like this kid. I want him to get a higher education. I want to support him. And I remember having dinners where they were like, choose anything that you like. You can pick anything from the menu. and walking away with a $10,000 check, you know, made out to the Gil Alicea fund. And Barbara handled all that, you know. I didn't know anything about that, you know, as far as being an adult. I was just a kid.
This is how it's going down. The air in my neighborhood is harder. It is more thicker, harder to breathe in, harder to see through. It's like it's polluted. I don't see stars or nothing. I don't like where I live. When I see people on the corner selling drugs, or if they're shooting, or like when the police has to come out.
You had a horrible beginning. I mean, everything conspired against you. And I don't really feel that you've ever come to terms with it. Especially, and I hate to beat a dead horse, but your relationship with your father. I don't think you've ever come to terms with that. I mean, you're friendly with him, you talk with him, you see him, but you've never really held him accountable for your growing up and the things that happened to you. You also have this need to blame yourself for some of the things that have happened to him. And that's wrong, because you're the child, he's the father. He's the one that knows better, and at times you seem to have known better than he did. And you have trouble accepting that.
Well, as far as, I do
know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I have some guilt, and I understand that my dad, being the adult, should have been the wiser. I don't blame myself for things, but I do hold myself accountable. In certain degrees, I guess. When my dad, returned into jail, which I mentioned earlier or before. My dad, getting incarcerated. Maybe I should have. Maybe I said one. I should have never spoke. Maybe I should have never. I blame myself for putting my dad in jail. I'm not too sure exactly, but
Yeah, but you shouldn't.
Yeah, I know.
You shouldn't, because he made his own bed. Number one, and number two, if you didn't put him in jail, he might be dead now.
Yeah, but that's something I haven't got over. What else? Basically, my dad, we are on friendly terms, and I don't hold him accountable. I don't have any resentment towards him.
That's amazing.
And I just want to love, be able to continue to love. As far as my immediate family, I want to continue. I don't want that to go anywhere. I want to love, be able to say I do love my dad, I do love my mother, and I do love, my family.
And the whole thing about the perspective of possibly losing your old man, as I've always said, you don't grow up until you bury your last parent. Because when that coffin is lowered, that's it.
Yeah.
There's no more daddy, mommy, the party is over.
Yeah, but I just feel so undeveloped, just unsatisfied with, I really didn't get the opportunity to develop with my dad as far as having a good friendship. And also with everyone else that I lost, it was just short-lived.
But as I looked back at the book recently, I just looked at the photographs, and then I remembered things you'd done after and during that period in your life. And it's like it's like you came in on this big wave, and you got up there to the crest, and you were suspended there. But the people that put you up there when you are no longer fascinating, sort of like evaporated. People have always used you as a stepping stone for their own advantage. But again, like the wave and the crest thing, it only went so high, but no one was willing to push it beyond, because there's a point where you lose control. And now you're not a 15-year-old boy, you're a 31-year-old man. And the people that, you see, the problem with parents and this lady is that they are locked in a time warp and a paradigm of still viewing you as a child. And because of certain elements of your life and dysfunctionality, I know from my own experience with my own family, when my mother was alive, I was in many ways a cripple, because I knew if things got bad, Mom send me some money. Enabler, yeah. And we make enablers of all the people in our life and all the people around us. If they allow it, and a lot of people want to be enablers. A lot of people want to have other people's children as their own. And take it from someone who was a professional child into his 50s. I've been a child all my life. I mean, I love being a child. I love people telling me that I'm important and giving me gifts and money, which I still do. And I'm going to be 66 next week. You're a very nice man. You're far too forgiving. That's one of your problems. You've been in your life in a cycle of abuse. And I'm going to say this with love and fondness of you, you're a victim, dude. You're a motherfucking victim.
Yeah, but until that's the opposite of I want to be.
I know the opposite, but what you want to be. But the fact is, you have this Vic dynamic in your life. Now that I think back, looking at the photos, I mean, you are a hurt, injured child, and I don't say that to degrade you or humiliate. This is not about humiliating you. You really are a victim, and you have to break out of that Vic dynamic, because your father has put you in a Vic dynamic. I mean, if any reason for your father to have gone to jail, just those few little incidents, mental institution is the word here. I mean, there's some heavy-duty shit going on here, man.
I mean, you know what?
Your father's a complex person, but my friend, you don't owe him anything.
No, I don't believe I owe him anything.
And if anything, he should be on his knees begging you for forgiveness.
Well,
I mean, that is.
He believes. I mean, just a month ago, a couple of months ago, jail and stuff. He made a reference to jail. Just imagine. I got locked up and I called my dad, and he said, just imagine being there for 10 years. Yeah, but my dad and I,
is that to say to you, imagine my being there and imagine the part you played in putting, guess what? Listen up, folks. He played no part. He was used. He was used by an adult. And, I'm not going to take this any further, because there are things I could say. No, you were used. This woman used you. And probably the only reason she's still in your father's life is because she's probably afraid of your old man. She has a lot to be afraid of. She has a lot. She has a lot to be afraid of. I mean, she has
I think. You know what? I don't try to understand.
Because if your father, if your father killed her, he would very possibly be acquitted. I mean, think about it. I mean, here she used the innocence of a child to hurt someone. Whether he was good, bad, or indifferent, I mean, he eventually would have gotten busted. But to use a victim, a child who's lost their mother, I mean, she's put in a position of a caring, a caretaker, curatorial role to take care of you and guide you. And here she's using you to do your old man, and she's fucking your old man at the same time. This is fucked up major sick, my friend. This is bad shit. Your father, for whether he does or doesn't, is immaterial. Your father still has the time to say, my son, forgive me. I'm sorry. But that's in an ideal world, and that you probably I doubt you're ever going to get that kiss of love from your father.
what I thought about a lot was when I remember when I got arrested and seeing Gil peeping through that window, knowing that he's alone now. Now he's alone. You know what I mean? And maybe was that a good thing or a bad thing? You know? And right then and there, it probably was a good thing. Maybe it was time for Gil to like maybe leave the nest like he did, and it was just a matter of him growing up on his own. And to me, Gil's like still that little boy that used to be running around in that racquetball court, trying to beat me in racquetball. The funniest thing was that I used to try to teach Gil how to box as a kid and give him gloves and stuff, and we used to put the gloves in. I used to get on my knees and Gil used to try to knock my head off, and I used to say, wait a minute here, stop, stop. And it was so hard, and then it got to me that, you know what, he probably was angry, and I thought about this as I sat in the cell. And that's when I decided to, like, you know what, to say enough. Because Gil used to go visit me. I remember him one time visiting me in Attica, and he wore a ninja suit in Attica to go see me. And I remember him seeing me in Comstock. I remember him seeing me in Danmora. I remember seeing me in Clinton, in the most maximum security places upstate New York. And what is he gonna think? I can only think that Gil says this is a good time when mom and dad are together, they're happy, and I'm happy. I can do almost anything I want. I'm allowed to do anything I want. And I remember him bringing my grandson to see me when I was in jail, and it was like the most profound moment in my life when he brought little Nigel in, and it was like, wow, my baby has a baby, you know what I mean? And it touched me, and I had to make changes. I had to make choices, and the air down here basically stated that, and everybody used to tell me, even though it's your son's book, he talks a lot about you, Gil. He talks a lot about you. And I remember reading the book and putting it down, and I could never read it again. It used to, because I used to always revisit those times and those moments, because he was really, he talks about in the air down here, when we play basketball, when we was in the gym, when we did this, and certain times in his life that he recalled his precious moments. In his precious moment, I read the book once and I couldn't read it again. After all these years, I couldn't read it again. I'm just saying that I love you. Of course, I'm always gonna love you. Mm-hmm. You're my son. We had a daughter that she passed away, and his mom passed away, and a lot of things that happened to both of us, and it brought us to now, and it's okay, and hopefully one day he'll be world traveled the way he needed to be. I love you. Love you too.
It's time for a new beginning, like we mentioned before, rebirth. And the time is now. Hopefully this will be it of the past. I couldn't find any resolution. No. What's the word?
Resolution? Yeah, that's, well.
Yep. Resolution, and as far as, my dad, and I may not receive that from Barbara, and that's okay. It's okay. You don't have to get from the abusers, I guess. You don't have to get an apology from them to move on. And this is something I'm gonna have to learn, or I'm learning now.
If I could add something to that, again, a Scientology reference, invalidation we've all in our lives been invalidated in one form or another, usually by our parents or our peers. And it sounds like what initially you said when we first started talking today was you're looking for your father to validate you, to give you validation. And Jack, it ain't coming your way anytime soon. Because your father can't validate himself.
No, I knew this.
And your father is obviously still being invalidated by this woman that he's living with, and he has no choice but to live with her. He's her prisoner. He's the prisoner of Zenda. Can't live with her, can't live without her. And you need to stop seeking validation externally and find your validation, and you have to validate yourself. Because most people, you were referring to Chris earlier, Chris invalidates you and other people because he does not feel validated. He's been invalidated. It's a very interesting idea, validation versus invalidation. And I really think you have to validate yourself.
So, here we are, 9 years later.
9 years later.
And the last time we did this, I was weeks away from possibly dying. And when I saw the final release of the film, and I saw myself struggling to breathe, it was interesting. So, what's been going on since then for you?
Life happened.
Yeah.
But now I'm in charge. Because these past 9 years, I was the worst. I was my worst enemy. And that's like, everyone's, that's a reoccurring slogan, I guess, that everyone's their worst enemy or what have you. I was a beast to myself. No one. Even though I've been through some hard stuff and I experienced some hardship, I really put myself through the ringer. And I had to ask myself, why? Why am I doing this to myself now? There's no one to blame but me. But the more I listened to my story, the better I became. I'm in a better place now than I was a year ago, definitely.
Okay.
It's
important that you recognize that and you say it aloud, repeat it constantly to yourself, because you have to be reassured.
Yeah, I don't harp on negative things anymore.
And you certainly had plenty to harp on, but anyway.
So I was able to learn, express my story to others. And since my story is it's a little bit of everyone's story. That's my experience. It almost seems like everyone could tap into something, and there's some parallels there. And people have, just yesterday, I was playing, a little bit of basketball. I haven't been playing basketball much, but it was this young kid who said, "Hey, can I shoot with you?" I said, "Sure." And I think he said he was 20 years old, and he was telling me his story. He's from Mexico, and I said, "Well, I'm kind of intimidated of Mexico right now because of the cartels." It turns out that he and a friend was kidnapped, was held hostage by some cartel, and they wanted these two kids to sell drugs for them, and tried to convert them over to the cartel.
Very common story.
And I shared with him that, usually I don't share. But, he had a phone, and I said, "You can Google this book, and it's a self-help book for me now. And now I can read it without feeling horrified."
You can read it with pride.
I do now.
Yeah, because that's the only way to read it.
I don't live in shame about the book. I don't feel bad about the book anymore.
No, you should be proud of the book.
I'm very proud. And then I got the opportunity to see how this kid's face lit up and said, "Wow, I want to write a book. And what I tell people is that everyone has a story.
Everyone has a story. Yes.
Everyone has a story. My
Whether
story
it's
is no
published,
greater
you were
than...
lucky. You got yours published.
I was fortunate. I don't believe in luck or coincidence because that's the absence of God for me. And that works for me.
Okay.
So...
Are you in touch with this individual now?
No, but I will see him hopefully this summer.
But did he give you his number? You should...
No, but I will run into him.
Good.
This is a local park that I go to, and he seems to be from the neighborhood.
That's an important thing, that you take this person under your wing. And, you know, I was thinking I think you should go and do stand-up about this. Not for humor. This is not funny. It's painfully funny. It's painfully funny, you know. Sometimes you cry and laugh at the same time.
You never know.
Times rough back in them days, but we managed to survive and hustle, make ends meet.
The art of surviving, especially when you're at that state, you're at a survival state. So I found myself doing what we used to call the Cyrus Foundation. And he used to always say that I was the mad genius or what have you, Swift.
The genius behind the scene.
And then
he was always the one with the mind, the thing. Everybody else ain't have brains, they were just following how we had to set up the rules and regulation of courting, getting this money, and dressing proper as we doing our dues.
It consists of me dressing up and having a team of 4 people. And Cyrus is good as far as being showing leadership and having, you know, 2 or 3 guys behind us. And this is not something that to rave about. Definitely don't want to boast about it, but just real life. So me and Cyrus, we used to go to these Virgin Records, and I used to get all dressed up, look like a preppy, and I used to go into Virgin Records, take at least 20, no less than 15 Xbox games, and I used to put them in a bag with the alarms and all. And there used to be a 40 system down in Virgin Records. And basically, it would go off. Even if you purchase something through the cashier and I had purchased a CD, it would still go off. So I would wait for the ringer to go off, and me with a book bag full of 20 Xbox games, I would, while the ringer rang, I would go through during that time. So it was like a blind spot in security. And I came off for like 400 or 500 each time. And what I would do, me and Cyrus would come back to the neighborhood and basically just drink, smoke weed, and just try to pass the time through songs and stories.
And plot how we're gonna make the next dollar the next day. Is we gonna do it again, or we just gonna pause and chill in the neighborhood and lay back on the island, because that's where we started from, Wars Island, Randall's Island.
Iowa.
You've got to get the story out, and the more people you talk to, going to schools, talking to that kid, that was wonderful, that was a good thing. That is evangelism in the best possible form.
You got to teach the young ones. If they don't know, they're going the wrong direction. But the key is to teach them education is the key, so you can become somebody in life, in today's society, so when they grow up, they can help someone out.
Take the banner and run through the goddamn streets with this, man, and let everybody know Gil's here. He's back.
I'm ready to not only discuss the book with others, but also what I've gone through these 9 years plus. A lot of people have given me a great reception as far as I'm sharing my story, other people sharing their story, give and take. I do self-help groups daily.
That's good.
And I attend a group usually once a day, if not 2 times a day.
Excellent.
And these are other people who I see that actually take heed to my recommendation or just my storyline, because it's not really unique. It's not really unique. It's unique to me, but the story itself, you know, just going through hardship, and then
it's as old as time itself.
Yes. and overcoming. So now I feel, I may not, on paper, be considered successful as far as where, I still want to do much more. But I am in a good place. I'm willing to do whatever it takes for me to be there. I wasn't there 9 years ago.
No.
I didn't have self-discovery as I do now.
Well, there were too many other people pulling on you and trying to impose their thoughts and wishes on you and what have you, yeah.
And I wasn't facing anything. I was just, whatever happened to me, and whatever, just leave it in the past. But then I was able to address those issues, and not only address them, but to look on to how can I utilize what my experiences as tools for life. And you know what? I'm empowered. I have such the wisdom just because of my experience.
Just what you said is very powerful. You know that, I hope. What you just said, I am empowered.
When I'm around others and it's, and we're just chatting, I just love life now. I love life today.
That's very important, my friend. That's a lesson I'm still trying to learn. I may or may not ever succeed, we'll see.
I don't hide from my shadow anymore. And, I didn't know how powerful my story was. It's one thing to say it, it's another thing to hear it and actually.
But I think you've discovered another very important part of the story. You discovered how powerful you are. That's important. That's more important than the story, because you've realized your own worth as a human being. So now you're ready to share the gospel.
I want to write a book of poetry.
Okay.
I have some poems that I have at the house, and I think they're okay.
Okay.
I've shared them with others, and they thought these poems were good. So I want to give it a try. I want to continue to be creative and express myself, and always keep a positive beat, regardless of whatever's going on in my life. Angel in disguise. Angel in disguise. My soul is filled with God's guilt. I am enslaved by my own doing. I have stripped myself of my own freedom. For who I am has no importance now, but in time, my name will come to light. I will never be judged by my peers, for I've outcast myself. My shine has no bearing, for I've been dimming since my departure of grace. I cannot pronounce what I've become. I've lost my way. Is it injustice that my existence will never be taken? So I'm always reminded of my pain. What have I gained within my timeless shame? Aliases of nicknames I have claimed. I've always been. I am great. My name is Tan, and I am a saint. So there's a reel right here. If you put a tight string to it, and allow this to close and then yank on it, it gives you access to the elevator, even if the elevator is not here. So if you do that on an above floor, you can step on top of the elevator, take yourself all the way up to the top, and kind of take the cord, the elevator cord, and slide down, which makes the zip cord sound.